Hi, I'm Vasundhara Rajagopal, and today I'm going to be showing you a recipe of a very different kind. I'm going to show you how to make soap at home. Now, before we get started, there are a few safety precautions that have to be observed. Always wear safety glasses while making soap. Always wear an apron while making soap. Always wear gloves. The reason is because we need to work with lye or sodium hydroxide, which is an extremely corrosive substance. Now, personally, I cannot work with gloves, so I don't use them, but I do recommend it very strongly. Also, all the pots and pans, the spatula, the stick blender, the soap mold, your hands, whatever it is that is being used in this process have to be sterilized with rubbing alcohol. Now, oils get converted into soap. So the choice of oils, the proportion of the various oils is your personal decision. I find that 55% of coconut oil and 40% of olive oil, 5% of castor oil works best for me. And I always make my soap batches with 900 ml of this combination of these three oils. And for this quantity, I need about 140 grams of sodium hydroxide and 312 grams of water. There are different ways of making soap. One is the cold process. Here, the soap making is very simple, but you have to let the soap cure for 4 to 6 weeks. Converting oils into soap is called saponification. So basically, the soap will get made only after 4 to 6 weeks of curing. Now, there is a hot process of making soap where you can use the soap much faster than the cold process, but it has to be cooked for several hours. Now, there's a very simple way of doing it, which is almost like a via media between these two. It is called the hot temperature, hot process soap. And here the temperatures that you're working with are fairly high, upwards of 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need to be very careful when working with these kinds of chemicals and the oils, making the soap using the hot temperature, hot process method. So let us see how this is made now. Here are the oils. I have measured out 900 grams of the three different oils. I'm going to heat it to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The lye is ready, the water is measured out, and once I've heated the oils, I'll be adding the lye to the water, not the other way around. The lye will be added to the water, and this liquid, this solution will also reach a very high temperature so that both the liquids will be at the same temperature for the hot temperature, hot process soap making. Now make sure you transfer every bit of the lye into the water because these have been weighed out and you need the precise weights to make sure that the final soap is properly done. Now once it is well mixed, add it to the oils. You'll notice a color change. And with a stick blender, you'll have to start blending. And I've added some powders here for the soap that I'm making also. Now continue blending. It will go through various stages like the applesauce stage and the mashed potato stage. This is known as the lava stage where it literally bubbles up and the soap is actually cooking. And you need to stir it. And once it bubbles up, cover it again so that it cooks. And this process will be repeatedly done till the soap reaches the Vaseline stage and is ready for pouring out into the mold. Now the Vaseline stage is very easy. You will not be able to miss it. It literally looks like petroleum jelly. Now this is the Vaseline stage, and here I'm going to be adding the essential oil that I used for the soap. 30 ml of the essential oils have been added. Make sure that you do not use fragrance oils because those are synthetic. Now this is ready to be poured into the mold. I have a rectangular mold lined with baking paper, and carefully I'm going to be transferring the finished soap into the mold. And to make sure that there are no air pockets, you have to pat down the soap and tap it a little bit so that there are no big gaping holes in the finished soap. Now smooth out the surface as much as you can. This will have a rustic finish because this is the hot temperature, hot process soap, and leave it overnight. Next morning, the soap is pretty much ready. Remove the baking paper, and this long bar of soap can now be cut into the sizes that you want. Now I have another wooden contraption that I use for cutting and the steel cutter. Again, as I mentioned before, use alcohol to sterilize everything that you use and cut the soap into the desired sizes that you want. Now once they are cut, I will use my stamp, pinch of turmeric stamp, because the soap is still fairly soft, and this is the time that I can use the stamp on it. And once I have stamped everything, these soaps are ready to use, though I suggest that you leave it for a week to cure. And once the stamping is done, I put it in a box, in an airtight box, and I also normally use a cotton ball soaked with the essential oil to keep the fragrance in the soap. And there you have it, your soap is ready. So do try it out and do subscribe to our channel.